Data and credit. Housing you
Time check for you, 12 hours 2. My name is Amrita Koshal, and it is now time for your main newscast. We will return with the rebroadcast of Guyana's Oil and You with Kiana Wilberg shortly after the news. In the headlines, Guyana loses millions annually on log exports while Chinese manufacturers gain as GFC misrepresents data to disguise over-harvesting, according to Dr. Bulkan. Current former EPA heads clash over safe production levels for Liza 1. Guyana's low-carbon path to be financed from non-existent market. 1 dead, 3 injured in Susdijk-Linden car crash. 15-year-old girl from Mahaica missing. We will return with the news in detail shortly after the break.
You don't have to be a fountain of knowledge to help children with their schoolwork while they're at home, but you do have to be caring, understanding, loving, and patient. It's an unsettling time for everyone, but children still need a safe and secure environment. So don't overwhelm them with endless news items or problems. Keep them gainfully occupied and amused, exercised and rested. Protect our children. A message from the Child Care and Protection Agency, Ministry of Human Services and Social Security, and UNICEF.
My name is Amrita Koshal, and this is your news in detail. The Guyana Forestry Commission is allegedly deliberately misrepresenting its data in order to present a glossy image of its management of Guyana's forests and the export of logs. Additionally, the country is losing hundreds of millions through transfer pricing involving Chinese operators locally. This is according to British Columbia University's Associate Professor Dr. Janet Bulkan, who, in response to GFC's condemnation of civil society group Article 13's call for an immediate ban on the export of logs, adumbrated that not only is there unsustainable forestry practices taking place in Guyana, but that the regulatory body appears to be deliberately misrepresenting the figures. Compounding the situation, Dr. Bulkan said that the cumulative misrepresentation of figures and disproportionate export of certain types of lumber have also led to local shortages. She explained the way Guyana loses millions annually in the manner logs are exported by Chinese companies locally through a practice commonly referred to loosely as transfer pricing. Get the full details in today's Kaieteur News. Increased production on the Eliza Destiny vessel by ExxonMobil has left the former and current heads of the EPA, Dr. Vincent Adams and Mr. Kemraj Parsram, respectively, divided on whether the oil company's operations are safe for or hanging on a dangerous precipice. This concern was first raised by Dr. Vincent Adams earlier this week when he expressed the view that oil production being above 120,000 barrels of oil per day is unsafe for Guyana. He said ExxonMobil's environmental impact assessment clearly states that 120,000 barrels is the safe production limit, and anything beyond that increases the risks of an oil spill. The current EPA head, Mr. Parsram, categorically disagreed with this position, as he noted that the same EIA states that production can occur beyond 120,000. He noted that page 28 of the EIA mentions that emissions associated with the project were calculated based on peak production at a conservative 144,000 barrels of oil per day. Former head of the EPA, Dr. Vincent Adams, has called out oil giant ExxonMobil for attempting to abuse the loopholes in the modified Liza 1 permit to flare gas. According to Section 3.6 of the modified document, quote-unquote, routine flaring and venting is strictly prohibited during any developmental, drilling, or production activities without EPA approval. Adams is of the view that this privilege given to Exxon to flare gas when the gas handling system is under maintenance can be abused. President Ali recently unveiled an expanded low-carbon development strategy 2030 with a plethora of projects to be financed from earnings to be had by selling carbon credits on a market that is at present non-existent. According to the document as presented by President Ali, revenues from market-based payments will finance LCD's activities identified within the LCDs or activities related to the principles of the LCDs and its themes, and approved by the National Assembly via the national budget process. It also ambitiously states a designated allocation of 15% of all earnings for indigenous villages and forest-based communities earned under a forest carbon financing mechanism will be administered through a separate mechanism under the management of the Ministry of Finance. Earning payments, however, will depend firstly on a market mechanism being developed that would see Guyana generating credits in accordance with that standard and marketing Guyana's credits to potential buyers. In other news, we now tell you a 29-year-old father of one, Mark Cameron, a taxi driver, is now dead, while 3 other persons are left hospitalized after they were involved in a vehicular accident along the Susdike-Linden Highway yesterday. The car crash occurred sometime around the 9:10 hours on the Marudi Public Road. Nursing injuries from the crash are 38-year-old Quakey Stanford, 25-year-old Caldella Marshall, and 23-year-old Shamika Richards. According to the information received, Cameron was speeding in a motor car heading to Georgetown when he lost control of his motor car. The car ended up on the eastern parapet of the road where it turned turtle. Cameron was seen lying face down in a clump of bushes while public-spirited citizens were assisting to get those injured from the wrecked car. In other news, we now tell you, on December 21st, 2021, Guyana's Court of Appeal is expected to rule as to whether or not the full court of the High Court has jurisdiction to hear the election petition case. Yesterday, the matter continued virtually, and the judges that presided over the matter are Chancellor of the Judiciary Yonette Cummings Edwards and Justices Don Gregory and Arishi Prasad. The issue regarding the full court's jurisdiction to preside over the election petition case was raised in a previous hearing. This resulted in the matter being adjourned to facilitate the lawyers laying over submissions in relation to the aforementioned. On October 26th, Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs Anil Nandlal and Trinidadian Senior Counsel Douglas Mendes had suggested to the appellate court judges that they set a date for the ruling on the election petition mitigation. The family of 15-year-old Crystal Adams of Unity Mahaica, East Coast Demerara, is currently asking for the public's assistance to locate her after she has not been heard from or seen for about a week now. One of the teen's older siblings, Brian Adams, said that Crystal has not been seen since November 19th last after visiting a family member in Berbice. According to the young man, they were informed about their sister's disappearance after receiving information that the child had an argument with a relative in Berbice. After that argument, Brian said he learned that Crystal went to the neighbor's house and has not been seen or heard from since. Anyone who might have seen Crystal Adams or knows her whereabouts is asked to call telephone numbers 659-1292, 676-8245, or to contact the nearest police station. And now it's time for your COVID-19 update. The Ministry of Health reported yesterday that 2 unvaccinated men who tested positive for COVID-19 have died. As a result of this, the country's COVID-19 death toll has moved to 985. The fatalities are that of a 55-year-old from Region 6 and a 99-year-old from Region 8. Meanwhile, 15 new cases were recorded, taking the total number of confirmed cases to 37,663. 15 persons are admitted into the ICU, 65 persons in institutional isolation, 1,376 in home isolation, and 6 in institutional quarantine. To date, a total of 35,222 persons have recovered from the virus. We now turn your attention to page 7 of the Kaieteur News, Blunt. It is not even dog food money that $30,000 is the monthly stipend for Guyanans to shows. No politician in Guyana would go near to that pittance. They would spit on it. Here is Guyana with huge forests and many minerals, but native-born scramble and beg while PPP leaders and ministers live like kings in Pradoville. Meanwhile, Tushaus live like paupers in the interior. Time check for you, 12 hours 12. My name is Amrita Kaushal, and this was your main newscast. We now return to the rebroadcast of Guyana's Oil and You with Kiana Wilberg.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's newscasts. Streamed live on 6 different mediums, reaching hundreds of thousands. Advertise today and watch your dollar grow. Call us on 225-8465 or 226-8210 today.
Said, we've come to the close of our program this evening, and I'll just give both of you a minute to provide your concluding remarks, particularly on your advice for Guyana's policy leaders and its citizens on what is necessary to protect their right to a healthy and clean environment. Ms. Malini, I'd start with you.
Thank you very much for having me, and thanks also to the people listening. As I said, the first thing to do is, the fossil fuel industry can't continue, and so I think the first port of call for countries like Guyana that have already launched an industry is to think about how to move beyond the oil and gas industry. And, Gary's colleague was asking for facts. There are many reports right now, including from the UN, that shows that the current mode of extraction, particularly with respect to the fossil fuels industry, is not sustainable. And I'm happy to provide those technical reports as well. But to Guyanese leaders, what I can say is that, when you think about pride for country and defending your people and their rights and their livelihoods, you have been entrusted with a duty of protection. This duty is recognized in the Guyanese constitution, which recognizes the right to a healthy environment. Only one of 2 countries in the CARICOM region recognize the right to a healthy environment. Guyana is one of those countries. And so already, we are talking about a constitutional right. Guyana's constitution recognizes the right to public participation and says there is a duty. People have a duty to participate and, to protect the environment. So, to Guyanese leaders and to regulators in particular, play your part, do what's right, protect your citizens, treat them as your family, as your children, protect them and stand up to companies, as a matter of national pride, protect your livelihoods and your ecosystems and let them know that, listen, we're not a country that you can take advantage of. We are strong, we are proud of our nation, and we will protect our citizens. So that's what I would say to Guyanese leaders. And it is a matter of law. You have an obligation under the Constitution and under international human rights to protect the right to a healthy environment, and I would say to bring an end to the fossil fuel industry.
Thank you, Malini. Mr. Aboud, I would give you also a minute to wrap up, and then we'll close.
Well, I like that word wrap up, but I want to see Malini That was the nicest 1 minute. That was even nice. That was even shorter than my 1 minute. So I wanted to say first and foremost that I only saw 2 programs, but I follow media and I know a lot of media personalities, and Glenlal is 1 in a million. So I want to say special congratulations for his program, for his style, his very respectful and diplomatic way of speaking, his sense of humor, his intelligence, his way of communicating. I learned a lot from him, and that's only 2 programs. And I want him back on this program because I hope everybody say a good big prayer for him, because I understand he took some time off for some health reasons. So I hope he's well and getting better. The second thing I wanted to say is that I have the privilege of having 2 very good friends who are Guyanese, Anthony Allen and Kishna Caesar. And I know plenty people in Guyana, and I don't think they know what is going on. 90% of Trinidad don't know what's going on in the energy sector. It's because a few of us making noise about it and writing about it and doing research and publishing papers and speaking at conferences with information that is verifiable and that they cannot sue us for, because it's the truth, that there's about 10 or 15% of the conscious leaders, housewives, taxi drivers, university professors, even United Nations diplomats who call us or send a message or send a donation to support our work. So I'm urging the Guyanese citizens to speak up, to arm yourselves with information, to be peaceful and polite, but do not think you owe any obligation to any company or any minister or prime minister who has not told you the truth or who is hiding the truth from you. Auntie and uncle, you have a right. Secondly, I'm concerned because there's a group started by the World Bank, and it's all over the world, and it is in Guyana. It's called the Extractive Industries Transparency Institute. And that contains 1/3 oil company, extractive sector personnel, 1/3 government appointed government representatives from different walks of government ministries, and 1/3, and it's supposed to be chaired by civil society. And that group is supposed to watchdog the extractive sector, ensuring that there's fair play and lawfulness in terms of environmental management, in terms of the value that they pay in royalties, supposed to be the values received in royalties. But it does not go far enough to demand and to ascertain the comparative value of how much Guyana is being paid compared to how much Alaska is being paid. And so we have been on the EITI for the past 8 years, and we continue on an uphill battle, oftentimes when we feel that our ideas and information are not properly aired. And we are supported by the civil society groups who sit with us. But who are the civil society groups who's representing the people of Guyana? Does anybody on this program know? And if not, why not? What is the secret? Are they representing your native people, your poorer communities, your concerned, intelligent, intellectual sector of this society? So in closing, I only have 6 more words. I thank you for this blessing. Everybody laugh at me because when I say I have 6 more words, I really have 600 more. But because he's here tonight, I don't want to overdo or overstep our welcome. And I thank you. I say a prayer for Glenn Lal tonight, that we see him back on the program next week and in good health with his beautiful smile. And we look forward to seeing you as well, Keanu. Thank you, Malini, for coming on with us. And thank you for having us with you. And a blessed night to all your listening members and to your population, beautiful people of Guyana.
Mr. Abu, thank you so much for your closing perspective. And to Malini, thank you very much as well. This has certainly been an insightful discussion. I'm sure that our listeners and our viewers have learned quite a lot about the importance of protecting human rights and what avenues they can utilize in order to do so. So with that being said, thank you so much again for your participation. To our listeners and our viewers, we thank you as well for being part of this discussion, and we do hope to have you here next week with us, same time, same place, for more discussions on Guyana's oil and you. Good evening, everyone.
Kaieteur Radio.
Covering Guyana from coast to coast.
Demerara and Essequibo 99.1 FM.
Berbice 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio.
Fellow Guyanese, after the newscast at 12 noon every day, I am dedicating some clips with extremely important information pertaining to Guyana's future. Please, I beg you, take some time and listen to them. It is for your interest and future generations. This is a message from Glenn Lal saying thanks for listening to the Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. Your wealth, our wealth, our resources have no race, no religion, or no politics. You hear me clear? That's a topic I'll be speaking on tonight, brothers and sisters. I didn't do a program Friday because I cremated my 71-year-old Trini friend hours before the show. And I was not in a good state of mind. So, I am so sorry about Friday. But I did instruct the guys to rebroadcast one of the programs that you may have missed. Hope you have learned and enjoyed it. Just remember, we never stop learning. I do every day, and I will share with you as the time goes by, one by one. That will be my gift to all of you. Knowledge. You guys know the best gift we can give to one is knowledge. That's the greatest gift we can give to any human being. Nothing is better or greater than that. And some of us are blessed with it. I consider myself one of them. Our Creator has blessed me with two things that He has not given people in Guyana. He has given us all some of the most beautiful things that comes with life, like families, wealth, money, and so many other basic things that mankind crave for in life. But He gave me two things you don't have: a newspaper and a radio station. I believe He gave me that for a special reason: to inform, to educate, and entertain you all as to what is going on in this land of ours. He also tell me, if I am the only one to say, reveal, to expose the ills, the wrongs, the skullduggery, the injustices of our society, I have to do it. I have been doing it 26 years now through the Kaieteur News. And I will continue in the same vein. I just can't help that. I can't help myself. I just can't see a wrong and don't open my mouth. The politicians of this land, the friends I meet, the people I know, every Guyanese reach me and ask me, Glenn, what's going on, bro? And I will tell them I can't help myself. It's just who I am. It's just what the Maker has created me to be. I just can't keep my mouth shut, especially when I see we are being robbed. Let me ask you this. Who allows a thief to rob his home every night and not saying a word? Which parent would allow a man or a gang of men to go in their home and rape their children every night and does nothing or says nothing? This is exactly what is happening to all of us. And the leaders who are supposed to be saying something, who are supposed to be protecting us all, you're hearing not a single word from them. Don't you ever wonder why? My fellow Guyanese, I hope you guys had a lovely weekend. Mine was cool. I had to attend a wedding in Wakenham where I was born and grew up. It's an island in the Essequibo, one of our county. You know, we only have 3. And that island, since I was a little boy, consists of 365 islands. By now, it's 465. I never forgot 365 because we have 365 days in the year. That's where I grew up. And I always used to hear old people say, after God Almighty is money. Is money. In the world, in this world in which we live, they got many names for it. They call it paisa, dinero, gilda, pounds, pesos, euros, US dollars, dollars. Without it, brothers and sisters, a dog is better than you. And that is true. I have seen it all over the world. How do you eat? How do you drink? How do you buy clothes? How do you pay rent, light bills, water bills? How do you travel? How do you do anything without dinero, dollar in your pocket? I know some of you may not want to believe that after God is money. But that's fine with me. Let's don't fight on that. But let me say this. Don't have money to feed your children or your parents when they're hungry. Then you will come to the realization of life. Then you will really know the importance, the value of money. That's the reason mankind work. Yes, you work to earn paisa. There's an Indian version and a Hindi version. No paisa, no pyar. nahi paisa, nahi pyar. What it means? No money, no love. And it is so true. Look at a man who can buy a proper shirt and pants for himself and see if you looking in his direction. See if you want him for your son-in-law. And it goes vice versa with a woman. Some people do anything for it. They cheat, steal, beg, kill, rob them mother, them father, them brother, them sisters, them neighbors. And trust me, if they find you stupid, they thief you too and make you into a slave. Some do corrupt things to get it. Some sell their children for it. Right here, I've seen it. Some do prostitution just to feed their children. That's the depth, length, and breadth people go and do for money. And it goes the other way around too, brothers and sisters. When you have it, you must defend it. You must protect it. You must fight for it when it's yours. Your car, you do everything to protect it. If you get into an accident and break the windscreen, what happened? How you feel? Especially when you got a bank loan on the car and can barely meet to pay for it. Lose something and you know the feelings. I got a pressman who lost his bike 1 year now and he's still crying. You know why? You know why he's crying? Because he's still paying from his salary. Because he owe his family who help him buy it. Your assets, yes, brothers and sisters, it must be safeguarded and protected at all times and at all costs. And nobody has to tell us that. We just put on grill on we house for what? Protect it from bandits. We go out of our way to safeguard our children and their futures. It's life. Nobody can take away anything from them. That's the instinct we are born with, guys. It's all about protection and safeguarding everything we have. You know, we elect governments and we elect them for protection, guidance, and to safeguard and to make us better people. We have our assets, our gold, diamond, bauxite, timber. We have so many assets. And who's protecting us? Who's safeguarding us? Just hear me. As I explain a few things going on in this country, hear me as I just want to let you know what's going on in this country. You got to know this. You must know it. I can't be the only one concerned and upset and kicking up a stink in this land. No, don't do me this. Although I am prepared to carry the fight for all Guyana, I need help. I need help. Look at Guyana. Take a real hard look, a good look, brothers and sisters. This land is ours. The waters is ours. The skies is ours. In them, we have unimaginable wealth that every Guyanese, every one of us, should be living like kings and queens. Who is running it? Who is managing it? Who is protecting it? And who is getting from it? Just think about that for a moment. Take a deep breath. I give you that time to take a good deep breath. Who? Who? Man, come on. Who managing it? Let me ask this. Would you send a butcher in your pasture to catch your animals, your cattle, fill up his trucks, take them away, and you, the owner, didn't see? Check or verify how many animals the butcher took out the pasture? Would you do that? Would you do that, young lady? No. Who does business like that with their animals? Guys, brothers and sisters, nobody, not even a blind man, would do something like that. He would send somebody who has eyes to see for him, check for him. Isn't that true, man?
Yes.
If you and see yourself what is going out every day, the butcher will butcher you. When he done with you, you're nothing. When he tell you he catch two and he carry away two, trust me, the pasture will be cleared before you know it. And you will still be wondering what's going on. What went wrong? The question here, brothers and sisters, do you know any cattle farmer or anyone else who will run their pasture like that? Where you tell the butcher to take and tell me how much you take. Well, I don't know anybody, whether they're blind, they're dumb, or they're deaf. Trust me, they know better than that. That is the story, brothers and sisters. This is the kind of animal business our leaders going on with in this country with our resources? Let me give you a few more examples so you can understand clearly where I'm coming from. Would you allow people to go in a farm and pick your mangoes without you checking what and how much them taking out? Come on, guys. Nobody does that. You have a supermarket, a store or a market stall. Would you allow a customer to go in, fill up their bags, and go home without you checking to see what they have picked up? Well, that is a kind of monkey business the politicians of this country carrying on with our gold, our oil, our bauxite, and others. Them robbing us blind. We leaders allowing people to come here, fetch out our oil, bauxite, timber, gold, and the government, our government, checks nothing and says nothing. Tell me, guys, what is going on here? Is this a real country we're living in? When we are done, when them done with us, I don't know. When we are going to put an end to this? Guyana, when are we going to put an end to this abuse? When are we going to stand up for our rights and say enough is enough? When are we going to stop them from raping and robbing us all? You tell me, guys. You know, they have Oh My and many other foreign companies fetching away our gold. And we have no one watching or checking what's coming out of our ground. We have no one watching over the operations to safeguard our pockets. Tons and tons of gold are going out already from our mining fields, and all of Guyana, me and you, are still in the dark. We don't know squat, and our leaders' mouths gone in there. You find it. You end that sentence. Let me don't say it. Where are you, Guyana? It is your gold and mine too. Why is the Guyanese? Why is only Glenn Lal and the Kaieteur News the only one saying something about this abuse? Please, guys, say something, do something, stand up and let your voices be heard. It's not theirs, it's our wealth. Them throw a couple ounces of gold in our leaders' faces, and they are happy with it, while they are going away with millions of ounces. Who verifying this? Who's watching over us? Who's watching for us? Nobody. These foreigners coming and carrying away the gold, and nobody saying nothing. Nobody saying nothing. What is going on, guys? These foreigners have been carrying away our gold since Noah built the ark, and not one of us in this country. Nobody knew how much gold Omai has carried away. Nobody know how much they find. And they're back here. They're back here, and guess what, Guyana? They got their own plane. Some of them got their own landing strip and helicopter pads. Who ain't get? Preparing to get. Them living the life in our country. And we, you and me, ain't got no watchman watching out for we. So what we really doing in this land? What is really going on? Wait, man. Y'all don't see your picnic ain't got nothing to eat? And we ain't got nothing to get with all this wealth that we own? So much wealth that these foreigners, them enriching themselves and them family, them giving themselves, their families overseas a great life. Off we go, our wealth. Come on, guys. Them same things was meant to give us our dreams and a better life for all of us. Our wealth is to give us our bread and butter. It was meant for us, not for them. Come on. And we got them living like kings and queens while we are begging for handouts. We collecting the scraps that throw at us. Yes. Pass by the lotto and the super bet places. You will see how much our brothers and sisters lining up to play a game, hoping to win $5,000 or $2,000 when the day comes. That's how we live, and that's how we will remain if we don't open our mouths and say something, guys. Do you know that Omai is back here, already digging out our gold, and we haven't seen the contract as yet? It gotta be. It says something for us and something for the government. and opposition. What you say? Why the nation can't see it? What's there to hide? You have Oh My Gold Mine, one of the largest company in here taking out our gold, and we can't see the contract. Why? What's in there that we can't see? What are they hiding from us? Is there something for them and the political leaders? Think about it. You know, I want to thank David Granger for one thing. One thing he did in this land when he was president, releasing those oil contracts. Hadn't he done that, Guyana, all of us, listen to me carefully, all of us would have reached our graveyards without knowing that Guyana is getting less than 2 barrels of oil on every 100 barrels pull up. You and I would have never known that we ain't got no insurance to protect us on to now in case of a disaster. You and I would have never known Guyana will be worse off after oil is gone. We would have never known fish will soon disappear from our waters, and the million ways in which we are being shafted. You and I would have never known that we are heading to the slaughterhouse with them contracts. Thank you, Mr. David Granger, for releasing those contracts. And I say thanks to him because many countries in this world took 50 and 60 years to see their contracts. You know why? Because the leaders were so corrupt that they hide it from the people. I want to make that very clear. But David Granger says no. The people of Guyana must know the contract. Brothers and sisters, without seeing those contracts, this program would have never been possible. And all of us would have been in the dark. We would have been in Wonderland. You know, I always remember a survey done about 20 years ago in which that survey revealed 5% of the world population make things happen. 10% of the world population watch things happen. And the 85% wondering what is happening. Brothers and sisters, the politicians of this land for too long have been allowed to take us all for a ride. It has to stop. It has to change. It is about them. It is not about them anymore. It should be about us. What them doing in this land with our resources have to change. don't sit back and allow it to go on. Let's stop it. Let's stop it, and let's stop it now. What's happening in our gold is happening in our bauxite. What's happening with our gold and bauxite happening where we timber, and no politician saying anything. You have to take whatever the foreigner shove down we throats. We don't have squat. We don't know a squat what is going on in our own house. And you ain't saying nothing. Nothing, man. What going on? The little dribblings. We can't even buy milk for we children, much as give us a better life. You guys not saying anything, man? Come on. Buddy, don't do this. The PPP, the PNC is the same C. The same story. Something is going on in their brains. Nobody can go in them house and carry away anything inside. Not true, man? You tell me. Tell me if them will stay quiet. They will not. So why them quiet on what is going on with these foreign people fetching away our country? No, man. No. I am certain they're watching TV or they're sleeping in the comfort of their homes, while many of you can't find a meal when the day comes. Not true, guys? Remember, I said we are all heading to the slaughterhouse. Well, the nation has been heading there years after years, and we don't do nothing. We don't do anything. Well, we have to do something quickly. If not, in 5 years, we'll be heading right there. Guyana, think about this. You got a country with bauxite and people fetching it away, and we getting nothing. We have timber, foreigners fetching it away, in which we get nothing. We got a vast amount of gold, foreign people fetching it away, fetching all away, and we getting nothing, absolutely nothing. And don't let the leaders tell you anything different. Let them bring the records, let them bring the contracts to show us what Guyana is receiving from them all. What are you doing, Guyana? You can't carry on like this. This nonsense got to stop, or you're going to come to a showdown and throw down. Brothers and sisters, your beautiful life is being denied. Your dreams is being snatched.